Hello, one and all. Welcome back to another edition of the Average Guy's Guide to Life podcast. You know who I am. You know what this is. You bitch. How's it going, you little bitch? How is it? Happy fucking Friday. We made it. How about that? We made it, guys. We made it through another week of uncertainty in the world. Celebrate. Celebrate how I am celebrating with a fine glass of Welch's sparkling grape juice. Thank you guys for joining me. Um, fuck, man. I don't have my intro right now because, like I said on a previous video, I am not a videographer. I am not a professional editor. And the software that I am using and the device that I am using is somewhat out of date. And it is not letting me get any new sort of editing software, so I can't add my intro. But I don't know if you guys give a fuck or not. Like, maybe you don't even like my intro. Let me know. Like, should I even give a fuck? And this goes without saying. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. I'll read the fucking comments. I don't care if they're mean or not. Like, I make fun of everything. Who the fuck am I not to be able to make fun at myself? I make fun of myself too. I don't give a fuck. So comment away, like away, subscribe, hit the bell, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Just support. um, and I'll appreciate it. I'll have some merch for you one day. And maybe one day I'll have this whole fucking editing thing down and have my camera perfect, and it'll be nice and pretty for you. All right? All right, good. So I have a lot of near death experiences. Didn't that escalate fairly quickly? So I have a lot of near death experiences, like more than a normal person should have, more than two or three. I have at least maybe eight or nine near death experiences. And I feel like I should make this a recurring thing for you so you can understand how stupid I am sometimes. Like how dumb my brain can be. I would love for you to laugh at my expense, or some of them are actually kind of tragic, um, especially if they're due to circumstance where I was raised, blah, 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 all that shit. So I'm going to start an episodic thing where I'm going to talk about my near death experiences. I might name the episode like Near Death 1, Near Death 2, not sure. But in this edition, I do plan on mentioning one of those near death experiences. One of the more light-hearted ones too. I'm not going to get too heavy on you like people trying to shoot at me, which actually happened on two separate occasions. Well, not directly at me the first time. They were just shooting in my general vicinity. I was also a child. And the second time they were definitely shooting at me. So I'm gonna share those later on down the line. But today is fucking Friday, so I am not going to harsh your mellow, as the '90s would say, with that heavy of a story. I'm gonna give you a fun one about my stupidity. Uh, but before that, I wanted to talk about what I was in thought about today. Um, I love music, right? I love all different genres of music. And if you know who I am and you follow my social media, you know that I make music. I am a rapper, among other fucking things. You know this. So I love music. I was trying to figure out why the fuck did rap get so bad? You know? Like, not hip hop, not like underground lyrical MC type shit. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like commercially accepted rap music, the shit that comes on the radio. You know, that got dramatically worse within the past 2 decades. I mean, it was originally um, I don't want to say originally, but we could talk about the growth of the genre, how it started, and the peak and what you would think the peak was. But in my opinion, I think the peak of the rap genre was early to mid 2000s into the early 2010s. So maybe from like, I'm going to say 98 to 2012, 2013, something like that. And the reason I believe that to be the case, and of course you can disagree with me, who the fuck am I? The reason I believe that to be the case is not only was the genre stacked, everyone had their own sound, and there was a collection of people who wanted to be the best, right? Not everyone wanted to be the best. There are several artists and groups that knew their sound and just wanted to stay true to their sound. Like Jeezy. Jeezy never claimed to be the best at what he, like at rapping, but he had a defined sound and a defined demographic, and he stuck to that. You know, Other rappers too, especially from the South, like Lil Jon. Lil Jon don't even rap. Like Lil Jon is, you know, a hype man that got popular for a few catchphrases, but he never claimed to be the best at fucking catchphrases, you know? So, but there was, and everyone knew their lane. No one was trying to get in other people's lanes, right? And everyone had their own style and their own way of saying and doing things. Now, I compare it to like the Attitude Era in wrestling, where everyone, not everyone, but there was more household names in wrestling than there are now. Like the Attitude Era was the boom, and everybody wanted to be the best. Everybody wanted to be main eventers. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin, you had The Rock, you had Mankind, you had Chris Jericho, you had The Undertaker, you had Triple H. It was just, you had Shawn Michaels. It was just so many people. It was just so fucking stacked, and they all wanted to outperform each other. Like during the heyday, even though I disagree with some of these claims, T.I. wanted to be the best. Nelly wanted to be the best. Eminem wanted to be the best. Lil Wayne wanted to be the best. Jay-Z and Nas, everybody was just clamoring to make that next lyrical display that could also be played on the radio to prove that they're the best, right? But there was other music being made at that time, during that time frame, that chunk, where they didn't want to be the best. They just wanted to make their best brand of music. Even Ludacris wanted to be known as the best at one point. Now, what changed, right, between then and now? Because now you have a bunch of motherfuckers that sound the same. They're all crowding the same lane, right? And no one wants to be the best. What they want to do is make a hit. What they want to do is sound similar to what another hit song sounds like. They want to be a part of the crowd instead of standing out from the crowd to prove that they are better than their competition. Now, in some ways, that's good because that kind of dissolves competition. If everyone's like collaborating and working together, no one wants to be the best, so we can all be number one. That kind of makes a little bit of sense, right? That way you can collaborate with damn near anyone, without prejudice, especially if, there's gang ties and shit like that. But when you make it in the industry, that most of that shit gets squashed. So it's like, okay, there's a positive to that. There is a positive to not wanting to be the best. But the negative to that is that the music itself doesn't progress. The music just hits a fucking standstill. And that's what it's been for damn near a decade now. the music has been in a standstill and everyone sounds like everyone else because no one wants to be the best. And I have a theory about why people stop wanting to be the best. Not only, I mean, a part of my theory is because no one could live up to those expectations anymore. People just stop wanting to challenge themselves. And remember, I'm only specifically talking about radio rap. I'm not talking about, battle rappers or, more lyrically profound hip hop artists. Like, and some of them can leak into the mainstream, like Kendrick and J. Cole, but that is like very minuscule compared to the heyday, the boom of everybody wanting to be the best. So a small part of my theory is because no one could live up to it, and it was just too much pressure, and the music should be about having fun. I get that. Now, another part of it, to me, is it was time for a transition, and the kids that were coming up and that were going to be these new artists, they couldn't relate to wanting to be the best at something. You know? Hold on a second here while I get some of my Welches. Now, they couldn't relate to wanting to be the best. And this is just my opinion. This isn't fact of any fucking thing. This is just how I see it as an artist, because in the music I make, I want to be the best. Even if I am not, widely regarded as the best, I want people to listen to me and know that I am pursuing excellence, not mediocrity, and I'm not trying to piggyback off some shit. I want you to listen and be like, wow, this guy's really good. He's actually pursuing, something more than surface level head nods. Anyway, so there's that new generation that was listening to all those other guys, they couldn't relate to it. And I compared it to, in my mind, when I was thinking about this earlier today, I compared it to the grunge movement in rock and roll. As I said, I love music, all sorts. And I love grunge. It's probably my favorite genre of rock. It actually got me into liking other forms of music years ago. One of the one of the very first bands that I was introduced to, of course, was Nirvana. And I want to know what the fuck was their deal. Like, what is this sound? How come he sounds like he's like singing with a mouthful of Colgate toothpaste? Like, is this normal? Is this new? Where do I find more of this? You know? So it was a new thing. If you're not familiar with what led up to the grunge movement in bands like Radiohead, Nirvana, Foo Fighters, Nine Inch Nails, Pearl Jam, the list goes on. And there was a bunch of bands that had one hit and they were out. Um, so what led to the grunge boom was the decades that preceded it, especially the 80s. The 80s was basically a bunch of happy-go-lucky arena music, right? It was popcorn rock. I mean, you had other bands in between there, but they weren't mainstream. The mainstream bands were the dudes that looked like ladies. They wore the fucking platform shoes and they dressed like girls and they had, makeup on. They had big, crazy looking hair and they was making love ballads. The kids that grew up not liking that shit wanted to make something else that represented the fact that they didn't like that shit. We're going to do whatever the exact opposite of this shit is. Instead of wearing skin tight, sparkly leather chaps and poofing out our hair and putting on eyeliner and shit, instead of doing that, we're going to put on a fucking flannel, not wash our hair, put holes in our jeans, and act like we don't give a shit about shit and sing like we got fucking toothpaste in our mouth. This is what we're gonna do. And grunge is like one of the most divisive forms of rock ever. Either you love it or you hate it. I don't really think there's an in between. I love it, but I know a lot of people that prefer classic rock and even some of the 80s rock. They don't like grunge. So I compare the new Marble Mouth music, since they're rapping like they have toothpaste in their mouth, but they're just doing it with auto tune, like auto tune toothpaste rapping, patent pending. This is the grunge of rap. It's the most divisive period in hip hop history, in my opinion. I think it is. Either you love it or you hate it. If you're indifferent about it, then I think you're kind of outside of the community. You're not really in the loop when it comes to hip hop. Um, but it is the grunge, right? Am I wrong here? I think the kids that ended up making their name in this new marble mouth rap shit, it's not new, it's been around for a while now, but you know what I mean. The kids that grew up listening to Jay-Z and Eminem and Lil Wayne and Kanye and T.I. and Nelly and Ludacris all say that they the best at the same time, and they just kind of got sick of it and was like, you know what? What happened to rap being fun, talking about guns and drugs and beating up bitches, and treating women poorly? What what happened to that fun form of rap? We should all just abandon this notion that we want to be the best and just stick to what makes rap fun. And we're going to do it in a very highly annoying way where you can barely understand the shit that we're saying, but we're saying it in a very catchy manner because the beat's nice. And we could pretty much rap anything over this beat and it's going to be nice. That's my theory. That is what I spent too much fucking time thinking about earlier today because I don't have a life apparently. No, it's not that. It's I care about it. It's one of those things where if you care about something, you want to analyze it, or at least I do from personal experience. If I care about something, I want to analyze it and figure out what makes it tick, what makes it the way that it is. And I think I figured out that what makes the genre, the rap genre right now, the state that it is right now, is because no one wants to be the best. And the music that preceded them, they didn't relate to. And they can say that they did as much as they want, the ones that are lying, because you didn't relate to this music at all. You really did. You probably related to some of the other songs, some of the songs that are on the album that aren't really, talking about shit. But as far as the music as a whole, you didn't relate to the fucking music, fam. Move around, because you're destroying the genre. But I don't believe grunge destroyed rock and roll, so judge me. Anyway, as I promised, I'm going to give you my near-death story now. I think I skated around it long enough. Now, like I said, I'm going to try and make this a recurring thing. And most of the time, I'm going to try and make it fun. And it's going to be at my expense, but there will be a couple in there that are kind of heavy. I also want to make unpopular opinions a recurring thing because I feel like I have a shit ton of unpopular opinions. A shit ton. Um, so I'm going to do an episodic thing for that too, like a numbered podcast edition of that, because I think I did unpopular opinion number one. And after I released it and uploaded it, I realized, man, I disagree with a lot of shit. Like, and I'm not a contrarian by nature. I'm really not. It's just that I'm a different motherfucker. I'm just different. I don't I'm not disagreeing for the sake of disagreeing. It's just that My opinion is in the minority. It's unpopular. Go fucking figure. Anyway, on to this time where I fucking almost bit the dust. So, when I was a kid, I was about 8 years old. I was invited to a young lady's birthday party. Well, I'm not going to say young lady. She was a girl too. She was turning 9, I believe. And I was invited to this place. Um, I guess because my aunt's boyfriend at the time wanted to get in her good graces. So he invited me to something that sounded fun. And she was having this birthday party at a water park. Very fun. What fucking kid doesn't like a water park? And previously to this, I've never even been to one. Shit. Hell yeah. I'll go. You know? So he takes us there, and I'm in my little swimming thingy with my fucking bird chest hanging out. Kids all over the place. It's yelling and lots of laughter. You know how it is when you go to one of those places and it's a lot of children. It's just jovial. Jubial? Juvialo? You know what I mean? It's nice. The atmosphere of it. It's nice because kids are having fun. Kids are being kids. So I went in too with my happy ass. I went in to go be a kid right along with him. Jump in the water, all that shit. And then he walks up to me and he's like, "Hey, I want you to meet my niece. This is whose birthday it is." And I walk up to the girl and I instantly remember like having a crush on her, but not knowing what a crush was. All I knew is that I wanted to impress this little girl, and I was going to do whatever it took to impress, and especially because it was her birthday, I had something to prove. Fuck all her other friends that probably knew her for years. It's this guy, it's this 8-year-old fucker that's just showing up to your birthday party with no present and you don't even know my name. I am the one that's going to impress you the most. And she had on one of these bandages that I never even seen up to this point in my life. Remember, I've only been alive for 8 years. What the fuck do I know? My brain is literally a fucking pancake. So she had on this bandage that was see-through. It was like a see-through bandage that was waterproof. And I'm like, holy shit, you got cut, but you can still swim. And you got an ouchie. You got a fucking boo-boo, and you can swim. I was impressed. So that made me want to impress her even more. It's like she's badass swimming with the ouchie like that. So we talking and we swimming, and of course we in like the 3 to 5 feet area. We not doing nothing too crazy. And when she starts swimming down to the deeper, like the 6 and the 7, all the way down to the 10 and the 12, I stayed my happy ass where I was, and I talked to her from a distance while she was swimming back and forth. Um, and because even though I was 8 and my brain was a fucking pancake, I wasn't dumb. Like I can't swim. I'm not an idiot. Like this is my first time ever seeing a water park. Like this is my first time ever being in a fucking body of water this big and it's just a pool. So I am really starting to like this girl and I'm mad because I didn't bring anything. So I'm trying to think of anything that I can do to impress this person. So maybe, just maybe, I don't know, we'll have sleepovers and play action figures. I don't know. What the fuck do I've been alive for 8 years at this point. I know nothing about girls. And especially not children. Like, for all that I know, this little girl could have been the most damaged little girl ever. She could have been fucking cutting the heads off hamsters. I didn't know. I didn't give a fuck. I was being a child. I think that's what it's called. I was being a child. Now, I was with her and her friends. So I was more so talking to her, but I was also in my 8-year-old mind trying to, get in close with her friends. Um, so they decide What would be really fun is if we go up to this water slide and slide down. Okay, sounds like a good time. Now, me not thinking or thinking briefly, but then not acting, followed they ass up to the slide. And as they're all going down one by one, it didn't fucking hit me until it was my time to slide that, oh shit, I can't swim. How am I going to get back up from the bottom of this pool? Like, it didn't hit me up until I was being told to go and basically being pushed down the fucking slide. So while I'm sliding for all of 3 seconds, I'm like, I'm gonna die. And motherfucker, I damn near did die. I damn near died. I have not blacked out many times in my life, but this was one of the ones where I was like in blackout mode. I remember hitting the water. I remember hitting the bottom of the pool. I then remember giving the fuck up and being like, this is where I belong, at the bottom of this pool. Um, talk about irony. Here I am reviewing 12 Feet Deep on the previous episode, and my dumbass was trapped at the bottom of the pool, and trapped at the bottom of a pool with people in it. But the difference is, I was 8 and I didn't know how to swim. That's the difference. So I don't remember anything other than that. Like my ass hit the bottom of the pool, fucking bubbles and shit everywhere, and then I was like, okay, I'm dead now. I'm dead. And the next thing I remember after that is just being woken up by the lifeguard. Like I'm laying next to the pool, being woken up, and then they look at me. Don't even ask if I'm okay. Don't ask, what happened or none of that. He just pulls me out of the fucking pool, throws me on the fucking thing, the ground next to the pool, wakes me up, and then just walks away. Walks the fuck away. Like me dying was bothering him. Like me coming close to death. This 8-year-old adorable fucking kid was bothering this guy. And he's like, yeah, I saved your little bitch ass life. Bye. But he didn't say any of that. He did it with his actions. And instead of impressing the birthday girl, I was very embarrassed because, I almost died on her birthday. But her being 8 as well, she didn't notice. She didn't know that I almost died. She just knew that some random person just pulled me out of the pool. She might have saw that as normal, especially if she's the type of person that cuts heads off hamsters. But either way, the mission was a complete bust. The mission failed. I failed. And what put the fucking icing on the failure cake was her walking over to me asking if I was okay. You okay? You sure? Okay. And then she just walked away, never to be in my life again. Mm-mm-mm. And that person could have been my fucking wife, man. That little girl. We were supposed to be married right now. But instead, I don't even remember her fucking name. And I don't remember the name of the water park. And I don't remember the name of the lifeguard who saved my life because he never gave me his name. And that's the story of how I almost drowned when I was 8. Hopefully you got a little enjoyment out of that at my expense. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I don't have any shame. Like, shame is for people with, I don't know, important shit to do. Like, if you have status or a fucking a title, like if you're a governor or some shit, or a lawyer, or a motherfucking, like a politician, or even a dentist. Like a dentist can have shame. Like you don't want your neighborhood dentist to be a fucking degenerate. Me, I'm a fucking degenerate. I am a degenerate, and I am proud to be a degenerate. So I don't feel any shame. You can say whatever the fuck you want to about me. By all means, do your thing. Just don't get out of control when you're in my face, because then I might have to put hands on you. And then if I put hands on you, that's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And I want to be in control of who I put hands on or not. So just keep it kind of friendly, unless you're a degenerate dentist. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you guys are having a lovely, lovely, lovely quarantine. I hope everyone is making it by. I know these are fucking bitch ass tough times, and this is the easy take to take. And everyone has been taking this easy take. Fucking commercials are taking this easy take, telling you that we're all in this together. Well, we are. I mean, it's true, but you've heard this shit a million times already, so I'm not going to repeat it. My goal is to get your mind off of that shit and onto some other shit that is hopefully better than the shit you're dealing with. All right? And remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, notification, suck my dick, go to hell, fuck yourself, bye.